Hello, welcome to the video notes for lesson 2-7. This is word problems, and then it says basic. So our target for this lesson is I can solve word problems using algebra. Okay, so we're going to be seeing word problems, and we're going to use our algebra skills that we've been practicing and using in math to solve the word problems. Now, I want you to cross out this line here that says pick any number between 1 and 10. We're not going to do that. What I'm actually going to have you do is write this down, 5 steps. There are 5 steps that I want you to use, at least to start, for getting good at writing and solving these word problems. Okay, so step 1 is going to be to write a let statement. So that's step 1. So usually in a word problem, there's something we're trying to find or something we don't know. So we have to declare a variable like let x equal the length or let x equal the cost. Step 2. So once we have a let statement, we're going to use the other information that we have, and we're going to write an equation. All right, so that's step 2. Step 3. Then, of course, we're going to solve the equation. So first we write the equation, then we solve it. Step 4, we're going to check the solution. Now, when we do the check for the word problems, check the solution, we are not going to do it the same way because I don't want you to actually do ESS for this, because if the problem we had is that we wrote the wrong equation, then our check is not going to help us define it. We're actually going to check this a little bit differently in that we're going to make sure it makes sense and fits the description in the word problem. And then, of course, the last step, which is usually the check, but in this case it's not, we're going to write the answer, write your answer, the correct way. And what I mean by that is, sometimes you have a question that you're answering. If you're answering a question, then you need a complete sentence. And then sometimes there may be 2 or more things that are being asked, that you're being asked to find. So you need to write out all the things that you're trying to find. Okay? So why don't we go ahead and take a look at some examples on the next page, page 30. If you need to catch up or write all this down, pause the video. I'm going to clear the screen and we're going to look at the next page. Okay, so next page, page 30, first example, one number, is half of another number. If the sum of the numbers is 78, find the number. So we've got one number and another number that's half of it. Okay, we're going to find the sum, which is addition, and that's 78 is 78 means equals 78. So our task is to find the numbers. Now that's not a question, so we're not going to answer that with a complete sentence. Okay, step 1, let statement. So we've got 2 numbers. We don't know what they are. So I'm going to let n equal a number. And then 1/2 n is the other number. So there's step 1. Step 2, now we write an equation. So the sum means I'm going to add those 2 together. So I've got n plus 1/2 n. And that is or equals 78. Step 3, solve the equation. So now we're going to solve it. Alright, so to solve this, I'm going to combine like terms. And I got 1 1/2 or 1.5 n or 3/2 n And then the last step for solving it is to divide by 1.5. And when you do, you get n is equal to 52. Alright? Now, step 4 is to check the solution. So, I've got a number, which is 52, plus half of that number. So 52 divided by 2 should equal 78. Now I know it's basically like an ESS. So 52 plus 26 equals 78. 78 equals 78, and it checks. For these solutions, I will actually allow you, or be okay, if you don't write out ESS, because you're not always going to just plug it back into your equation. You're going to test it with the description in the word problem. And then step 5 is to write out the solution. Now, we're not answering this one with a complete sentence. So the two numbers I have are 52, and the 1/2 n, or the other number, is 26. And make sure you put a box around your final answer so that I don't have to, or whoever's grading this doesn't have to go look for it. Okay, so there was one example. Let's do another. Delena's age is 3 years more than twice Kaylee's age. If the difference in their ages is 9, how old is Delena and Kaylee? So, 3 more than twice, so that's 2 times Kaylee's age. Difference, that's subtraction, is equals 9. So now we have a question. How old is Delena and Kaylee? So we're going to answer that when we're done with a complete sentence. Okay, remember, step 1, let statement. So Delena's age is 3 years more than twice Kaylee's. Do we know Kaylee's age? No, we do not. So we're going to let x equal Kaylee's age. And then we're going to make another expression. So 3 more than twice Kaylee's. So twice Kaylee's is 2x, and then more than is going to be plus 3. And that's Delena's. Or Delana, I'm not sure how you say that. Delena's age. Okay, so now we're going to do step 2. We're going to write our equation. So the difference for the two ages. So we have 2x plus 3 minus x, that's Delena minus Kaylee, equals 9. And step 3, we're going to go ahead and solve. So to solve, I'm going to combine like terms, and I get 2x minus x, which is x, so x plus 3 equals 9. Okay, so only another step, we're going to subtract 3, and we get x equal to 6. So there's what x is. Now this doesn't answer everything. So 4, I'm going to do a quick check. So if Kaylee is 6, what's 2 more, or 2 times 6 plus 3? So off to the side, I'm going to do 2 times, oops, come on, wake up, 2 times 6 plus 3. What is that? Well, that's 12 plus 3, well, that's 15. All right, so let me fix this. I'm not actually going to start with Kaylee. I'm going to start with Delena, who's 15, and Kaylee, who's 6. Now, does that equal to 9? 15 minus 6 does equal to 9. So this checks. Okay? So, now, step 5. I got to write the answer. So I know Delena is 15, Kaylee is 6. So, I need to write that in a sentence to answer this. How old is Delena and Kaylee? Delena is 15 years old, and Kaylee is 6 years old. Do you need to write it in a complete sentence? You are darn right you need to. Okay. All right, next problem. Bryce bought 3 cans of peas of equal price and a gallon of milk that costs $2.49. He spent $4.29. What is the cost of the can of peas? So we only want 1 can. Now it's a question. So your final answer better be as a sentence. So 3 cans of equal price. We don't know what that is. Gallon of milk costs this. We also know that he spent $4.29. So what we don't know is the cost of a can of peas. So that's our variable. So there's our let statement. Let x equal the cost of 1 can of peas. Step 2, write an equation. So there's 3 of these. So I have 3x plus a gallon of milk, $2.49. And that totals $4.29. Step 3, we're going to solve. So my first step here would be to subtract $2.49 from both sides of my equation. And when you do, the 3x comes down and you get 3x equals to 1.8 or $1.80 divided by 3. $1.80 divided by 3 is 60 cents. Now let's double check it. So step 4 is to do the check. So 3 cans of peas plus a gallon of milk, $2.49, is supposed to equal $4.29. So 3 times 60 cents is $1.80 plus $2.49. And 4.29 equals 4.29. So it checks. Oops. I don't need to put a box around that. That's not my final answer. Step 5. Write the final answer the correct way. What is the cost of a can of peas? The cost of a can of peas is 60 cents. Now, make sure you write 60 cents the correct way. And there is the final answer, and you are done. Now, there's a couple more examples on the next page. So let's take a quick look. This video's getting a little long, so I'm going to stop it in just a second. On page 31, so there's a problem 1 and problem 2, and at the bottom there's the answers for it, so you can check your answers. So let's do, I'm just going to help you do a let statement for the first one, and then see if you can solve it on your own. Joey has 15 less Pokemon cards than his sister Gina. Together they have 35 cards. So you're going to add them together. How many cards do Joey and Gina have? So, I don't know how many Gina has. I just know Joey has 15 less than that. So I'm going to let G equal number of cards Gina has. And so since Joey is 15 less than that, G minus 15 is the number of cards Joey has. Okay, your job is to do step 2, 3, 4, and 5 on your own. It is a question, so you do need to answer this in a complete sentence. And then try problem 2 all on your own. This one I'm going to put a star next to it. I'll be impressed if anybody can write the correct equation and do all this on their own. One more thing before I wrap up the video. For every step you can tell me in math without going back and looking at your notes, So I don't want your binder open when you do this. For every step that students tell me, I'll give you a point. So since there's 5 steps, if you can correctly tell me the 5 steps without going back and looking at your notes, I will give you a point for every one of those for a total of 5 points. All right? If you've got any questions, make sure you come and see me or see a friend or parent. Watch the video again. Good luck, and I will see you in math.